And you are all unmuted. Welcome to another exciting episode of Eberron, Ashes of the Last War. I'm the DM of this game, Obsidia, everyone's favorite Death Knight, and I am very excited to have this session here today. As is tradition, we are going to do a round the table introductions. And then we are going to do some announcements, a session recap, and we're just going to get right back into all that trauma because I'm about to hurt everyone. So, first up, let's go. Paige the Mage.
Yep. Hi, I'm Paige. I'm the only one who still has their original character profile, but I play Paige, the Time Wizard. In this campaign, I go by Yulia, Royal Knight VT on both Twitch and Twitter. Finally out of Twitter or Twitch jail, so play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons with these wonderful people and a lot of JRPGs. So very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Very excited to have you, Yulia. Next up, we have none other than Stuffed to the Brim Illya. Let's go.
Oh my god!
If she can't fuck up Fruling anymore, this is what she's going with.
Yep.
Okay.
Illya, breeding kink the Fae. Let's go.
Okay. Well, I brought that upon myself. Anyways,
welcome
hello.
to Ashes, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to Ashes, everyone. My name is Lily. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Lily Faywood. And now I'll get myself together.
Family picture.
I play a lot of D&D with these lovely folks. I'm going to be DMing soon, which we will get to in a further announcement. I will let them take that whenever that comes. But so I'm busy working on all that stuff, working on other stuff, all sorts of fun things to try and make some good old content stuff. Yeah. Hello.
Thank you, Lily. Next up, we have, I believe, a new face here. What is this one? Is this orgasm? Which version of happiness is this character?
Yes, about that. So hi everyone. I am Maris and I play Euphoria. And still the playing the latest and greatest of hot pink horny bi tieflings. And yeah, you love to see it. Currently still rocking that rebranding hiatus. However, you can always Ob's channels and Litro and, on Litro's channel playing Disaster Buys. So enjoy that for now until I actually get that good old sweet content rolling again.
I don't know why you have to specify the channels you play Disaster Buys. It's literally all of them.
It is all of them. It is all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not play a by disaster character, challenge level impossible.
Impossible. It's my brand.
Thank you, Maris. Next up, we got Malral, your pal. Let's go.
Hello, I am Malral, and I am played by Litro the Bronze. Just your dorky 1/4 bronze dragon who's really into tabletop games, fantasy, and old-fashioned retro video games. So yeah, if you like that, feel free to come by my place and check it out. I'll be trying to stream some more soon, especially now that I have some more free time on my plate.
Thank you, Litro. Definitely go check him out. Working on a new big project. Good guy, good DM, good pal, good Malral. Now last but never least, flicks back hair, we have Cess.
Hey, it's Says and Sif. I'm Goth. I'm a cat girl. Hi. I'm also a night VTuber that draws and plays games and stuff. I'm back from Ohio, so I'll be streaming this week. That's great. I'll see you guys there and here right now on Obsidia's channel. I love you all a ton. And this is Dungeons and Dragons, yes.
Thank you, Sif. We love our wayward kitty knight returning to us once more. For announcements for the night, first announcement is thank you everybody for all of your love and support during the month of February and our charity fundraiser for Trans Lifeline, a trans suicide prevention and support network. we raised over $1,200, baby. So you'll love to see it. That'll be put towards helping a lot of people, and especially in these trying times that we are in currently for the trans community. Every little bit is amazing. So thank you all for making it such a fantabulous 2-year streamiversary and fundraiser. We believe trans rights are human rights here, and we are all cuties, and you are all beautiful and loved. And so that's my announcement. And then we've got another colossal announcement from ya boy, Litro the Bronze.
Yes, indeed. As said before, I recently just got some more free time, and that is because I will no longer be DMing Mistwalkers or Comet Tales. For my own mental health, I've decided that I need to only DM one game at a time. But because these games were so beloved by the players, Comet Tales has been taken up by my friend Oliver, a former player in that, now turned GM, and also our resident Lily here has decided to take up the mantle of Mistwalkers. Both will be, I believe, on their channels, although we're still discussing that. They'll probably be a month out before we continue them. But in the meantime, feel free to go follow both of those amazing people so you can continue watching both Comet Tales and Mistwalkers.
Yes. We
Mhm.
love. Sorry, we loved you as a DM, Litro. I understand the need for mental health and stability, and I hope that those who take on the torch of glory that you've set up for them will do you justice and honor. Lily, would you like any thoughts on your new mantle of DM hood?
Horrifying, but yes. No, it's not that horrifying. I'm excited to be taking up the mantle for this. For those of you that may not know, Mistwalkers was and still is a lovely horror, mostly horror themed campaign with full of a lot of lovely people here on this channel. And I am going to be taking it, running with it, and giving it my very best love, and I will traumatize them. I will aim to traumatize them as much as OBS traumatizes us here on Ashes. That is a promise. Thank you.
We'd love to see
Probably the
you.
most horrifying part of all of that, though, was the giant text wall of notes that I sent her.
I've seen worse.
Uh, but yes, thank you both so much. Also, this is just a message out there for chat. Since Lily got a new microphone, please let me know what the levels are like for her. So if need be, I can turn her up or down for volume level. So let me know. And now we come to previously on Eberron, Ashes of the Last War. As you may have remembered, the party had recently finished their adventures in the Fey Wilds, and with Jubilee having left them to join the Wild Hunt, the Prince of Cats, Ikashi, reactivated a portal back to the material plane, and the party returned only to discover that a month of real time had gone by while they were spending a single day inside of the Fey Wilds. They returned to their manor, much to the surprise and adoration of their friends and followers. But they could not truly appreciate such matters, as they were all racked with incredible depression. So they went their separate ways. They had some pep talks wherein Malral expressed that, while this was a tragedy, you were still together, you're still alive, and you're still friends. And so to never forget that. Fruling, the artist formerly known as Fruling, was locked in their room, having felt like they personally failed, having protected their friends as Jubilee had departed. Even though people tried to get them out of their room, Paige had a heart-to-heart with them through a door, asking if they wanted to build a snowman before Cess actually was the one who broke through, having received a package from Fruling's goblin femboy with various trappings of their past, wherein Pruling revealed their true name is Illya, and that they, in fact, identify as she/her pronouns now, and they embraced their true heritage as a master of magic rather than the hunter that they were, and they have now dedicated themselves in a yandere fashion to ensuring that no harm comes to this party who has helped them so. Furthermore, Cess has adopted a new mystique about her, having dyed her hair and adopted further dark clothes and having rather dark perspectives and dark thoughts on most things. They have grimly decided to continue on with a somewhat nihilistic approach and conveying to the party that if anybody ever wants to leave, well, that shit just happens now. I guess that's just the party we live in. Additionally, they sent a letter to Jubilee's family telling them of their daughter's disappearance into the Feywilds and her joining the Wild Hunt. And Paige had a reunion with their lovely artificer Sylvana, who was glitching quite hardcore in the month that's gone by since they had entered the Feywilds, and began to put two and two together as she talked somewhat manically about all that she'd been doing to try and get Paige for wherever she was and the time it had taken her to research things. And they saw patches of bleached out space in the Talantis Grove that was the portal to the Feywilds, and it became apparent that Sylvana had been experimenting with Fey energy to try and tear a hole, a portal, if you will, into the wilds, and had needed a considerable amount of Fey energy to be able to do that. And so the pixie dust and glitter was basically dripping off of her as she explained that she had been trying to find Paige, and Paige's horror became ever present as the depths of magic that Sylvana was willing to go into to pursue her was incredibly alarming. And as their conversation spiraled out, Sylvana became confused and defensive as she felt like she was being attacked by Paige for just doing what she could to try and protect Paige. She also tried to explain to Paige that, you know, this Fey energy isn't real or anything. It's just the energy of the universe that she was harvesting. It's not like they're real people or anything. And none of this did much to console Paige, and Paige is basically determined that there's something fundamentally wrong with Sylvana that she wants to help her with, but Sylvana was very much taken aback by this and retreated to her own room, and they have been fairly cold to each other since. Finally, after that letter was sent to Jubilee's family, a certain figure from the past appeared on their doorstep, none other than Lady Euphoria Cox, otherwise known as Jubilee's mother, arrived, asking what happened to her daughter, and the party explained in detail, and she said, well, we're gonna go get my daughter. She clearly was being young, dumb, and full of cum and making a bad decision, and she didn't know what she was getting herself into, and so we are going to get her back, and I'm going to stick with you guys for now as we pursue getting her back. I understand that you all have to work for a living, but I am overall going to make sure that you guys don't fuck this up any further. She also got in a argument with everybody's favorite hobgoblin daddy, Kai-shen about the trusting her daughter's choice. And as everybody began to go their separate ways after a somewhat heated exchange, we returned to our ventures where Malral had offered to Euphoria the ability to try and send some messages to Jubilee in the far-off plains, with potential for success, or so they think. And so we will now begin back in Greywall, back in their mansion, as our lovely group of heroes go about their next day. We will start with Malral and Euphoria. Malral, obviously you've prepared sending for today.
Yes. Yes, I have.
What do you wish to do?
Malral is probably waiting in his forge because he told Magnolia that he would prepare
Euphoria.
such a Euphoria these spells today. So he's more or less waiting in his forge, preparing everything for the ritual, waiting for her to come to him. You can see he has several metal plates made out with his hammer currently by his forge, and he's still pounding away on some.
Knowing that this was, likely the arrangement, Euphoria will seek him out at his forge and, um, walk in, head high, ready to brace herself for whatever answer they may or may not receive, and just, give a little tilt of her head, just, morning. Everything ready?
Good morning. Yes, I believe I have everything that is needed. Do you have what you prepared?
I think so. It's hard to express all my thoughts in so few words, but
I can cast the spell 3 times today.
okay.
After that, we will need to wait another day till we can do so again.
Well, let's cast the first one and see if there's a response before we do anything else.
I've never
And
sent a message so far away. There is a small chance of failure, just so you know.
thank you. I'm ready for that possibility. It's the possibility that she doesn't want to talk that scares me. But
Miss Euphoria, if I may say,
of course, go ahead.
I know the pains that it can be to be a parent sometimes, and how stubborn some children can be. But a bond is always there. And if your bond is one of love, then it is a very hard bond to break.
Hmm. I hope you're right. I hope that girl knows that I love her more than anything. And, well, she was always headstrong. I don't know if I'd go so far to say as stubborn, but yeah, she was headstrong. Is is headstrong.
Like a spearhead piercing through anything that comes across them.
Hmm.
I should know. He points to the scar that heel left once more.
That's my girl.
You raised her good. Now, what is the message you would like me to send? And he holds down a metal plate and readies his blacksmith hammer.
Okay. I've got my fingers out ready to count. Um, Juby, it's Mom. I just want to talk. Your friends miss you and need you. Your family needs you.
7 words left.
Please. Reach out. I love you, Mom.
With each word that was said, Malral pounds down onto the metal plate. And even though it's not hot from the furnace or anything, still sparks and embers seem to shoot up out of it. And with each pounding, the word actually floats there in the air for a moment until the entire phrase that was spoken is now floating in hot red embers before it flies off.
Well, that looks mighty impressive, I must say. How long does it take to get a response, if any?
It depends on the distance. But
Oh,
more often than not, instant. Also depends if they know they can respond or not.
okay. And she'll just lean against a nearby, trying so hard to look patient, but you see her heel clacking against the floor as she is like nervous, twitching, tapping her toes.
Malral offers like uh, uh, one of his tools for her to like fidget her hands with. Her
Thank you.
message will reappear on this plate.
Okay. You said you're a father yourself. You know what it's like to deal with headstrong teens and young adults and uh,
Mine,
all the joys that trouble brings.
all the trouble brings. Yes, I have many fond memories, but mine never made it to an older age.
Oh,
The mourning.
I see. I'm sorry to hear that.
There was
Sorry for
nothing
your
that could have
loss.
been done.
I guess
I,
not, but that doesn't make it any easier.
it does not. It is why I want to help these people who are going through much so now. I have felt lost before, and it was great on me. However, now, through my work, through my heart, I can see those people that I once cared for in my work, in my forge. They guide me today.
Hmm. Well, I'm sorry they guided you towards my wayward daughter.
I'm happy they did. Jubilee is a fine young lass that
Well,
was perhaps pushed in a role she may was not ready for, but she definitely, from what I saw, grew into it quickly.
she'll kind of tilt her head a little bit at the phrase role she was not ready for and just very simply says, well, thank you. I worked very hard to make sure that Juby was always the best that she could be. The apple of my eye, you might say.
Was
Yeah.
it difficult?
Difficult?
Even though I raised my child during war times, I could never imagine them fighting. Was it difficult teaching them how to fight, knowing one day they would have to use those skills properly?
Hmm. No, actually. I mean, as a mother, you always will fret about your children, but that's why we do our utmost to prepare them for everything this world has to throw at them. They should be prepared for the worst. And I did my best to make sure that my girls were always prepared. Just hope it was enough. That's all. Who knows what sort of thing she's fighting out there in the Feywild.
Ugh. He gets like a disgust face when you say Feywild.
Take it you didn't enjoy your trip out there?
I'm a man of steel. Going there was like it was like improperly cooling a piece of iron before it had a chance to cool after being heated and tempered. It can cause cracks.
Hmm. Well, from what I know about the Feywild is they play by their own rules and most of them don't make much sense. So I hope Juby keeps her wits about her. That might be the best weapon she's got right now.
Well, she did have to deal with all these other kids here.
That's true. That's true. Well, and looks
Your
over at the she looks over
your
at the forge and the lack of response, just
would you like me to send it again? Or a different message?
well, maybe in a little bit. There's still a chance she might respond later.
I will inform you if it does.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more thing?
Sheep?
You do not share the name of your the last name of your daughter.
Hmm, that is correct. Uh, her father, Augie and I, we went our separate ways many years ago. And, you know, it's not really my style to be bound to a man who insists on giving his wife and children both his last and middle name. That's just not my style. So I went back to using my name.
I agree, last names are strange.
I mean, really, Jubilee, Baneshield, Ravamont? Ugh. I was lucky I got to give her the first name.
Bane Shield.
Hmm.
He rubs his scar again. Still, if you and her father were separated, were you still able to spend much time with her?
With Juby? Oh, sure. I mean, just because Augie and I were divorced doesn't mean that we didn't share our parental duties. I looked after Maggie and Juby and even those little blue youngsters as well. Augie's latest offspring. I love the little rascals, though.
What did you like to do together?
Well, most of the times we would set up obstacle courses for the kids. Something, real trying, difficult. Had to use their wits and their force. Sometimes it would take them 4, maybe 5 hours to figure out.
Anything beyond combat?
Well, if time and luxury permitted, we would go on holiday, see the ocean. We'd have a little, a little house in the woods, but that was if time and luxury allowed. Once Juby grew up, got herself her own job, she did not have that luxury anymore. She had to take care of herself.
There is always time to spend with your parents. If nothing more than just a talk, no?
Oh, sure, but we didn't have, like, big family vacations or anything anymore. But we spent time together, and we made it count.
I'm envious.
She'll give you a smile and a pat on your shoulder, and I'm sorry.
You have nothing to be sorry for. It makes my heart warm to see such a caring mother.
We do our best. Well, let me know if anything changes. I appreciate your help.
Of course. If you wish to send any other message, please tell me. I'll always have it prepared.
I will. I'll let you know. Thank you. Now,
He gives a
what's it?
smile, pats the hand that's on his shoulder, and then stands up to start putting away some of the other metal plates he had prepared just in case.
Now, what's a gal got to do to get some breakfast? Where is that little goblin? She'll head off.
All right. And as Jubilee journeys off to get breakfast and find her little goblin, Cess, what are you up to?
Since Lily is currently MIA, Cez has taken the chance to make a platter of various grilled cheeses with a bowl of tomato bisque, and she is going to make her way over to Asharan's room, assuming Asharan isn't out in the dining room or something.
Ooh, spicy. No, they're in their room, currently.
Cez will, with her hands full, sort of like use her foot to sort of knock on the door. Asharan, you in there?
Yeah, yes, just give me a minute. And a few seconds go by, you hear some scuffling, and the door opens, and it's at this point you realize this is probably the first time you've ever looked in Asharan's room. So directly behind them, you see that there is the bed is pushed against the wall. It appears to be fresh, well, like it appears to be still made from when Lily makes your bed when you first got in here.
It's untouched.
and it is got a layer of dust on it, and then below the bed, like underneath the frame, you see that there is a pillow and a blanket with some books you've actually seen around Flamebearer Ray's church, where it's the Argent Canticles, the Tales of the Flame, other like religious texts and stuff, and then on another wall there is a small shrine to the Silver Flame with a single mage light candle on it that is perpetually burning a silver flame, and they give you that same dead-eyed look very impassively, and goes, yes.
I was wondering if we could talk. I made some grilled cheese. I know you weren't you when you said that you never had any before, but I figured just in case.
They raise an eyebrow at you and they go, you want to talk to me?
Yeah.
Um, all right. I don't really have any place to sit.
I mean, the floor is just God's given seating arrangement if you think about it.
Um, uh, oh,
I'm fine with that if you are.
okay. And they kind of take a reluctant step back into their room, and you get this feeling that they look very cornered right now. So they kind of take a step back and kind of look around awkwardly, and sits in front of their bed, and kind of looks side to side like I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now, and you are entering my room. Nobody enters my room.
Nobody enters my room. All she had to do was knock. Sets the platter down in front of her and like sits cross-legged and across from her from them. Excuse me. So yeah, I came here to do more than just give you food, but please feel free to eat. I tasted it a bunch when making it because there's a lot of weird cheeses in Greywall I've never seen before, so I had to test different combinations for grilled cheese. I'm getting distracted. Point is, help yourself. I just came up here to apologize. To be honest, I'm not sure exactly if and how I offended you. I just know I feel like I've done it, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry if I made you feel in any worse way. That's not something any of us here would want. Um, we know you had to give up your home and come live with us. And take it from me, the last thing any of us wants is to make you feel uncomfortable.
They kind of look down at the grilled cheeses, and then up at you, and uh, go, why does it matter to you?
Hmm?
Why
Well,
does it matter what you
because
said
we're
to me?
because we're friends.
You think we're friends?
Yeah, I mean, we fight together, we live together. I mean, the only thing past that is family, but I didn't want to make any assumptions, And, even though you did kind of trick us back in that last job, I've come to understand that you did what you had to do. And it might not be obvious, but I think everyone here appreciates you to some extent. I know Ilya does now for sure, so.
They look at you very intently, like you're being scrutinized very hard. Their eyes don't look dead, they look very much searching for something. They go, well, that's a strange perspective, but you all did take me in when I had nowhere else to go, so I am. You have my thanks for that.
Okay. Um, Would you mind telling me what I did wrong, though? I have a clue, but I also don't want to make assumptions so I don't end up making the same mistake again some other time.
They're like holding a piece of grilled cheese, and you see them just kind of like absently, they're just pulling pieces of it apart and just like putting it back onto the plate as they stare at you. I I don't like being told to be someone else. Not by you.
I understand. I hope you understand that wasn't me trying to tell you what to do. I was trying to help, but I'm aware how it could come across as that. Um, like I said, everyone here wants you to feel comfortable, so however you want to be, you be that, okay? And if you ever decide that you want help or assistance in making sure you have a more comfortable experience here, you can just let any of us know, all right?
Until I
Uh,
leave, right?
if and when you decide to. Like I said before, I mean, I'm not looking to kick anybody out, but I also know people are thinking more than just adventuring. You know, like my sister, she's gonna do this for the rest of her life. She's gonna go to some big fancy school in Arcanics or something, and I'm pretty sure once, if and when Euphoria gets Jubilee back, well, those two will go off or stay. I'm not really sure. So yeah, and even after you leave, you'll still be my friend. You know that, right?
I'll be gone. I won't exist to you anymore. Why does it matter?
What do you mean you won't exist?
You will have your own life.
Mm,
I will return to service. I don't see why it would matter to you what I'm doing.
mm, have you ever had a friend before?
They continue kind of just absently pulling apart the sandwich, and there's not much left of it at this point. I I've worked alongside many people.
But have you ever had a friend? Someone to spend time with outside of work?
Yes,
Like,
I've used many people.
well, I mean, I guess you could say friendships are for use, but they're for more than just that. I mean, someone that elicits joy when you spend time with them. There's no ulterior motive, there's no job or information to get. It's simply because you like being around them.
That's a liability.
Mm, I guess you could see it like that, and it definitely is. It means those people you let in close can hurt you a lot. I know that from personal experience, but when they're there, you feel better. You feel stronger. When I went to my therapist, a lot of my rage comes from those bonds I have from my sister, and more recently, everyone that we've gotten to live with us. I know it's gonna hurt like hell if they ever do something, but when I think about all the joy I've gotten with them, all the happy memories, I wouldn't say it was a waste. And when they choose to leave, I wouldn't say it's like they're gone from my life either.
They continue pulling, but there's nothing left to pull in their hands. They're just doing the motion. They go, you seem to be thinking they will only have a choice when they leave you. You've identified things that you're attached to. If someone wanted to hurt you, if I wanted to hurt you, I would take those things away from you.
But you don't want to hurt me.
But I'm not the only one that's you're going to be dealing with. There's other people that
Well,
know you. There's other enemies you've made.
and you're saying that they'd hurt the people close to me to get to me, yeah?
Or at least to make you weak.
That's true. And in times like that, I'd like to think I'd have faith that things would work out, that my friends are strong enough to make sure they don't get hurt. I mean, every time we go on a job and I go down, I'm pretty sure I'm causing heartbreak for the gang. But you're right, friends. I mean, you could say the same about anything about like that with great value, though. I mean, if this home was attacked, if Lady Ray and the church was attacked, hell, we saw it in our first job. We saw it firsthand with Cryo and Cleotrixia. Like they were about to start a whole war over her daughter, and yeah, it is a liability, but it's a risk I think it's worth to take. A risk to have family, to have friends, to expose yourself to have loved ones. It's just par for the course. It's up to you to decide if that companionship is worth it or not.
Um,
Which, go ahead, sorry.
I'm just see Asharan's kind of pulling back from the uh pulling back from where the food is and getting more pressed against their bed. And it's almost childlike when you see it that they kind of like pull their knees in and they they look over them at you and they go, you I it seems so foolish. Seekers will
Mm,
hurt you. They're going to find this. They know where you live. They will find your sister, your friends, everyone, and they will take them away from you. That's what they do. And they're not even the strongest things out there.
well, since you like using examples so much with the Seekers, let's put a few back on you. Let's talk about Ilya. She lost very important people to the Seekers. She got hurt. She lost time to that pain. But look at her now. She may not have bounced back right away, but she started a new life, new friends, new family. She's accepted the losses and has moved on. And as hard as that is, it's it's proof enough that that pain is worth risking. And if we want to get into threats, I mean, we can't act like we're not threatening ourselves. We may not be that strong compared to an entire organization, but a couple of brushes here and there with the Ashbringers is nothing to tout about. If something were to happen, it would hurt a lot. But if I let fear stop me from experiencing joy, then what's there to live for? If I was still that small shifted girl who was afraid of the silver flame, then I wouldn't have become friends with Lady Ray. I wouldn't be friends with you.
They pull their they pull their head kind of closer into their legs and they go, I think that she has exposed herself. She is what she used to be, and that was a victim. And I think that she has abandoned the hunt too quickly, and she will be made a victim again. It's what I would do.
You can call her a victim if you think that, but, well, I think she'd be offended for one, but two, I think her choosing, after seeing what she's capable of by giving into hate, choosing to go back to how she was, I think that just means she's gotten stronger. That will, that strength to look at that risk, look at that pain, and accept it, and wield it moving forward. That's one of the strongest strengths I've known. But again, none of us are gonna force you out of your shell. If you are afraid of gaining liabilities by trusting us, no one here is gonna force you to be our friends back. But you're important to us, okay?
You kind of are just like breathing as they look at you. And I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me.
Would you like to understand? I mean, you called something foolish, but it's like you can't really say that without getting to know it first, yeah? I think my sister would call that scientific theory or whatever that jargon is. You don't have to be friends with me right away, but if you want to start spending time outside of your room, like later today, Larissa and I are going to go makeup shopping because she got interested in dyeing some of her feathers if you want to try makeup. And then there's always spending time with me and Lady Ray if you want to go back to the Silver Flame Church in town. Or we could just sit around and enjoy each other's presence. I'm sure Ilya would be more than happy to spend time with you if you'd like to experience friendship.
I don't think that they would want a friend like me.
Have you asked them?
No, you
Then
only
how do you
know
know?
part of our story. I have known Ilya a very long time.
Do you want to tell me that story?
All I will say is that I speak from experience when I tell you the things that can be taken away from you. And so does Ilya.
Mm, if that's where you want to stand on things, that's fine. Again, there's no pressure, but if you ever find yourself wanting, I'll make you a grilled cheese anytime you ask, okay?
I, I've had enough.
Okay. I'll go ahead and take these and bring them downstairs then. If you ever want to finish them off, they'll be there, okay? It says, gets up and picks up the platter.
And Asharan kind of tries to take a few breaths and then promptly like bolts out of their fetal position and goes, you can leave now.
Don't worry, Sharon, I was. Um, we'll be around if you need anything, okay? And says, walks out and closes the door behind her.
And you hear like very frantic scurrying um, as you leave. and uh, and yeah. So after Euphoria is able to flag down Lily and get some breakfast made for her, Euphoria, what do you want to do with your life?
Well, that's a loaded question, but I think in the meantime, she is going to seek out Kai-shen, oddly enough, based off of how they interacted last. And basically with the intent to information from him, just because he seemed so sure that he knew what Juby wanted. And as, a mother who knows her daughter best, she doesn't really stand for that very well. So she's gonna, seek him out, whether that is in his room or the training grounds, wherever that might be.
Yeah, you can meet him at his room. So his door is closed. Do you knock or such?
Yeah, she'll give a brisk knock on the door.
You hear some footsteps from the other side. The door opens and you see Kai-shen standing there. He's only slightly taller than you. And he's wearing his black and gold silk robes with goblin runes on them, and his exposed chest and scars and tattoos, and his fatigues, and he is barefoot. His hair is currently pulled back into its usual ponytail, but kind of folds his arms across his chest and goes, "So you decided to come?"
Euphoria crosses her arms in a very similar manner and just, I did. Is this a good time?
Yes, I was just reading. And he will push the door open a bit further with his foot and take a step aside to let you in.
She will strut right in. Unlike Juby, she is very confident walking into a man's bedroom, so
Hey, you notice, Kai-shen's room is basically the same as when Juby was here. There is an armor rack with also his weapons and another rack next to it, his very plain bed, a like an armoire, and then you see that there are like these kind of wall tapestries all along the walls in Goblin as well as Sylvan. The ones in Sylvan appear to be less skilled than the ones in Goblin.
I'm not quite sure what I was expecting in the room of a former champion, but it's a lot plainer than I think I was expecting.
I do not need ostentation to prove myself.
Uh-huh. But you collect artwork.
I create artwork.
Interesting. Man's gotta have hobbies, I suppose. And she'll walk up to the art and just kind of politely look as one would look at like a museum piece,
Yep. Yep. It's all very very well made. Like all of the brushwork is very refined and skilled. It's very technical, but you do sense a fair amount of intensity in the motions, and you notice areas where ink has been watered down and stained, but which kind of occurs at random in certain pieces but not in others. There's no real explanation as for why.
Seems to use a variety of techniques. Some of these are clean and pretty, and others, she'll look over at the Sylvan coated ones. I think you should stick to what you know.
Yeah, will stand next to you with his arms folded across his chest and goes, Those were the ones I taught your daughter how to make.
Her eyebrows go up and then down and furrowed, and then looks back at the paintings. Just, you taught my Juby how to paint?
Correct. I had been working with her and noticed she had a poor capability to express her emotional state, and all she would focus on was training and fighting. I knew that was a recipe for disaster, and so I showed her how to be able to express herself in a way that she could control.
A recipe for disaster? I think that's quite where you're mistaken, Mr. Jiao. You see, what better way to unleash your worst emotions than in the throes of combat?
He turns to you and raises an eyebrow and goes, "That is an unhealthy approach. Combat should be methodical, tactical. You should not let your emotions take command of you. The moment you let your emotions decide your actions, you are letting the enemy decide what you are to do. You must maintain control of the battlefield. This, though, is a place where you can allow yourself your emotional weakness."
Sounds to me like the one who doesn't know how to rule over his emotions is you, in that case.
I have suffered great plight in my life. I have allowed myself the luxury of processing it.
Yes, well, just because you lose yourself to your emotions does not mean that other capable warriors do. My Juby was very good at regulating herself.
Your daughter was a capable warrior and an aspiring leader, but she lacked confidence in her capabilities and would always find herself at the mercy of the feelings she had accumulated for her friends and lovers.
Again, her eyebrows go up. Okay, I have a few questions. First of all, I think you're mistaken because I would certainly know if there was anyone special in Juby's life. This kind of work is not conducive to a romantic environment. She never wrote home about any beau.
He actually gets a very, very slight smug smile at this and goes, "Lady Cox, I'm sure you know how close the bonds of camaraderie can get, especially amongst the young, especially when they live together and spend so much intimate time together. And I'm sure you also know that perhaps those are not the things you would wish to discuss with your parents." As he kind of leans over to you.
All right, point taken. But still, she should have known better than to mix work and romance. I definitely taught her better than that.
And he kind of makes a shrug and throws his hands up ever so slightly and goes, "I told her the same thing."
Well, at least that means it's not just me she wasn't listening to. I don't know if that makes me feel better or not.
She has apparently a genetic stubbornness.
Ha 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 ha. Well, Yeah, she takes after her mama. But, well, and her father for that matter. But, you saying my Juby was romantic with someone in this party?
Correct. She had struggled for some time with her feelings among several members of it, but shortly before her departure, I presume, she came to some form of resolution.
Am I privileged to know? Or is that something I'm going to have to find out for myself?
Yes. It would be rude of me to presume further into her life.
I see. Never popped up into any conversations, any of your art sessions, perhaps?
Whenever we would create this, she would always do it in Sylvan. While I could appreciate the artistic flow of the language, I unfortunately cannot speak it.
Sylvan? Juby didn't know Sylvan either.
Well, I assure you she picked it up, perhaps from her connections to the Fae.
I see. So this, Joel gestures towards Juby's work. So this doesn't mean anything to you then? Can't read it?
I cannot read it, but I can feel it. I can see the emotion that she conveyed through it, and I can tell you that she had much on her mind, and much she was unable to put to words normally.
Illya, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, can read Sylvan.
That
Would
is
it
what
be
I've
alright?
been led to
Would it,
believe.
would it be alright if I brought her in here? Take a look at it?
Of course, I always welcome people who wish to be able to explore art, but few take me up on my offer.
Hmm. But Juby did, huh?
I spent a significant amount of time training and guiding her. Once I joined this group, I saw a bit of my own daughter in her.
Is that so? And she made this choice under your guidance, did she?
I respected her decision making. She was an adult.
Even with all these bottled up, confused, unregulated emotions you said she had? You thought she was capable of making good decisions then?
If she wanted to be a leader, she would need to be able to process and make decisions no matter what stimuli or impulses had come over her. I tried to craft her to be capable of doing that.
Didn't quite get there though, did you?
Kind of narrows his eyes at Euphoria and goes, I think I did. A capable job. She made a decision all on her own.
Well, I thank you for looking out for Juby. Let's just hope that whatever thoughts you put in her head doesn't hinder her coming back to us. And she'll walk out and seek out Ilya.
And as you're walking out, he will say to your back, and let us hope the burdens you placed on her do not prevent her from making a further correct decision.
She'll pause and kind of tilt her head like she's going to say something back, but just be the bigger woman, walk away, and give a big huff, and out she goes. Looking for Ilya.
All right, you can go. Ilya, where are you?
So yeah, Ilya is in the training grounds right now, I think. She is currently just trying to get back in tune with the latent magical capabilities that she had. And is basically just in the courtyard, just focusing on the crystal. And basically, what you can see as you kind of walk in is you can see a very large flower of ice kind of sprouts from the ground and stretches out uh, well over 15 feet in radius and just kind of like stretches it, shatters it, catches it, brings it back inside to her, and just takes a deep breath before practicing it again.
So Euphoria, this is what you walk into after, looking through the house and stuff. You could hear the glass or the ice forming and shattering outside, so it's pretty easy to figure out where Ilya is training currently.
Is like open door, I can just walk in and see everything? Okay.
Yeah, I assume it's like a courtyard kind of area.
Yeah. She'll just sort of lean against the archway, arms crossed, and just call out to you. Your file didn't say anything about magic usage.
She'll turn around. The folk is still kind of spinning in front of her, like in the middle of the air, and just says, "Well, some people are just full of surprises."
I guess so. Trade secret?
Family secret, I would say. Something my mother taught me.
Seems you're full of secrets.
I am trying to remedy that a little bit. Things change. I change. And I feel like I know better about who I am and what I have to be. What can I help you with, my darling?
Well, request your knowledge of languages. You see, Kai-shen has some things that Jubilee wrote before she left, and neither of us can read them because she was writing in Sylvan.
Yes. I know she spoke that. I can help.
Good.
Be curious to see what it is that they wrote together.
I'm not sure I'm gonna like what I find, if I'm gonna be totally honest. Based
How,
off of what Kai-shen was talking about, the way he described Juby, it's like he wasn't talking about my girl at all. Not the way I remember her.
well, I only knew her for a few short months before all of this happened, as you know. I only joined the party very shortly before coming to your abode. But the girl was nothing if not unsure of herself.
See, that's the part I can't wrap my head around, if I'm gonna be honest. Juby she was driven, and committed to her work and her devoted to her path in life, and of
Would
course
you
Augie and I were nervous about uprooting her, starting her off somewhere new, but
would you say that she trusted people easily?
maybe, but
She certainly didn't. She certainly didn't towards the end of her time with us.
did something happen to change that?
I do not know the whole details. I wager that a lot of what happened before I tagged along, but she just the night before she left, she asked if I trusted her, which I replied, of course I trust her. I trusted her more than anything. And I had always said that it would be a bad idea to trust me, given my past that I'm sure was in the dossier. But she she struggled. She struggled to open up with people. The others, I think they know better than me, but I only just have a bare read. There was a lot going on behind the scenes, and a lot of drama around our previous party acquaintance in Clifton Orient or Paint, or however you wish to know them.
Her eyes get like a angry little sparkle to them, just, "Did that Orient boy do something? I always knew that kid was trouble."
Do something? No, I don't think that they ever actually did something, but I certainly think that he wanted something to happen. She fought it off at pretty much every corner. She did it to just about everyone in the party, including myself, a 99-year-old woman.
Well, for what it's worth, you look good for 99.
One
Huh.
of the benefits of being a fae.
Well, that sheds a little bit of light off of what Kai-shen was telling me. Yeah, that Orient boy was always tagging along with Juby growing up.
They did not part on good terms, if you did.
No, I did not
Quite,
know that.
quite possibly, I think, the worst terms that you could possibly imagine. I don't think they've spoken to each other after they left.
No kidding. That comes as a surprise to me, considering she was always amicable towards him. But seems there was a lot that I didn't know and need to catch up on. Speaking of which, shall we?
Of course, you lead the way.
And she'll bring Illya over to Kai-shen's room again. She won't knock this time. She's just walking in.
It's fine. Kai-shen is just, he was staring at the pictures when you came in. He goes, Illya.
Kai-shen, darling, how are you doing today?
He looks over at Euphoria and goes, enduring.
I thought there might be some tenseness stepping into the room.
I don't know what you mean. Now, These paintings over here, these were the ones that Juby did. You can see there's a lot of writing that needs deciphered.
Ilya,
Mhm.
as
I do
you...
not. Oh, go ahead. You go first.
No, you can
It's
go
fine.
first. I'm going to be doing the actual
yeah.
what they are, so
Gotcha.
say whatever you
Yeah.
want to
So
say.
I was just going to say, now just to extend on the point a bit. Juby did say that she did not know Sylvan earlier, but she picked it up along the way, and that she didn't want the others to know about it. I found that a bit curious, but decided that maybe it was just purely an academic endeavor.
Hmm.
I trusted her. And, in some ways, maybe I do regret that a little. But let's take a look.
As you look at the pictures with Kai-shen and Euphoria, you notice that there's two different sets of things. One, there's actually, now that since you've been there now, you can recognize it. You recognize some of the actual non-worded art are somewhat rudimentary paintings of the Fey hunting lodge that you guys were in, as well as the Feywild woods in general. So you notice that amongst the actual art before you get to the writings that she's been doing.
This makes sense. When we were in the Feywild, in the Nightmare Realm, that ended up becoming the Lodge of the Wild Hunt, Jubilee spoke and said that she knew this place, that it was familiar to her. I found that strange. As someone that has traveled the Feywild, and myself, I did not think that there would have been a chance for her to come across these kind of depictions. It's not something they teach you in storybooks and such. But she did speak. She knew. She knew this place. Now I see that she most certainly did. Kai-shen, when she started, was this one of the earlier pieces?
It was one of the midpoint pieces. Her first thing she had written down was, and he points to one of just the calligraphy ones, where you notice that there are spots of it that the ink has been diluted and blotted out. And he goes, "That was the first one I wrote with her. I guided her hand as she conveyed the words."
This one's not in Sylvan. Is that because they're letters that you taught her?
Yeah, looks at it and gets a very slight smirk as he looks at it, and then it kind of fades and he goes, "Yes, I had to explain the basics of calligraphy to her, and so I used the example of Goblin as it is the language that I do it in, and so I taught her the characters to convey her name as well as mine."
Hmm. Well, how long ago was this midway point one? You call it midway point. How long ago was that?
About how long ago was it, Jubilee?
That's a good question. Time is kind of wibbly wobbly in our interludes.
There's been several months
It's
since
been several
you
months, yeah.
originally recruited Kai-shen. So I think it was Quest 4 after Quest 4 was when you started painting. So I don't know. It's been probably about 2 to 3 months before Jubilee left. So we'll say this was around month 2.
Hmm.
It was approximately 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Not all that long ago since I saw her last.
She did have those fair features.
Yeah. And I'm sure you folks heard this plenty, but she said not to worry about it.
Oh, we heard not to worry about much.
Indeed.
Again, I don't know if it makes me feel better or worse that she was lying to other people other than her mother.
In a way, I feel a little bit at fault. But I didn't think anything of it, being a fae myself. I Ilya hesitates a bit. First things that we discussed. After she, unfortunately, was knocked unconscious during the arena ongoings, she we took a bit of we took a spot of training, and I told her that she should learn how to fight dirty. Things that my husband taught me way back in the day. And against what is now my better judgment, I told her that I would recommend using any tools necessary to get what it is that she wanted.
And so she
I,
used the questionable face sword of unknown origin.
I didn't know. There's no way I could have known that a group of ragtag adventurers were able to take down an archfey. How could that be possible?
You know, I have the utmost confidence in my Juby, but I'm not quite sure I'd believe that either. Tell me either. Just that she picked it up from one of her adventures, and it served her well, and she was in control.
She was stronger for it. That there could be no denying.
I see.
She did seem more capable as time went on. Her movements did become more fluid. I can only presume her bond with that sword had grown closer.
So it wasn't a wholly bad thing that she used it.
She was more capable than she had ever been. The sword in tow.
And she had used her abilities to protect her friends on several occasions.
Many occasions.
Hmm. Good enough to have caught the attention of a faking.
I don't think it's much about catching attention. It's not sure. The Wild Hunt is the one that I'm the least familiar with out of the fake courts. I mostly align with Queen Mob myself. But the the Houndmaster is the Knight of the Oberon. The Houndmaster is the sword.
Does she say anything about that in her writings? And Illya.
Yeah, I was like, yes, DM. Do I?
As you look at the other paintings, you can see, you get the overall tone of things. You see lots of reflections of feeling lost and a bit of, is she in the right place? Is she the right person to be in this place? Is she really living up to her full potential? What if she's not actually meant to be a leader? Can she actually take this burden on? Every time she seems to struggle. And as the paintings continue, eventually you see a kind of a sense that she had an understanding that she was going to one day leave the party to go stay in the Feywild, to stay at the lodge where she felt like she belonged. And you do see in those final notes about, where she felt like she belonged, you see a note that it does get a little more erratic in the writing, but it does say that she wishes she could bring Cess with her, but she doesn't want to make her choose between her and Paige.
Ugh. Oh. um. Just gonna turn around and look to Euphoria and to Kai-shen and just say, this decision that she made, one that she felt she had to take, because I don't think she felt like she was ever strong enough. She wanted to protect us more than anything.
But you just said that she was stronger.
I do not know where it is that this doubt, this lack of self-confidence comes from. She was nothing if not a perfect defender, a perfect fighter throughout the entire times that I knew her. The only moment she ever went down was in the arena, and that's hardly fair when we are fighting a demon. She was always there. She was always there for us. But she didn't feel like she belonged. That she felt like, from what she says here, she felt like she belonged elsewhere. Away from all of us.
No, that maybe you need some new glasses or something, because that can't be right.
I'm as lost in this as you are, Euphoria. She held us close. She held us tight. She said she did this for us when the moment came. As if this was what we wanted.
So what am I supposed to do? Just leave her there?
No. I'm sorry, Kai-shen. I know that you think that she made this decision and that we should respect it. And I do respect Jubilee so much. She was our valued leader. But she didn't know what she was getting into. And I think she may be learning that currently. And I just. The Jubies that I know, is that I knew, would never give up what she had if she knew what it is that she was going to get.
Kai-shen will kind of look over at the writing and kind of put his hand against the canvas and say, "It seems that she had more awareness about her decision and what she was doing than we were able to see, or we were able to understand."
She may have had understanding, but a decision made in peril is not a decision made in good conscience. If I may, feel I can speak to this personally. As someone who gave up everything about myself for a goal and a task that I felt I had to and needed to do. I regret becoming who I was. If Jubilee regrets her decision, she deserves the chance to make it again.
Kai-shen's gonna give kind of a side eye to Euphoria and turn slowly to look at her and go, "Well, you were going to talk to Malral to message her. Did she respond?"
No. No, she didn't. But it's a long way to get a message to her. Maybe she just hasn't gotten it yet. Or maybe her response hasn't arrived yet.
Kind of shakes his head a bit, goes, "I do not understand the arcane. That was my wife's responsibility. I will not opine as to how or when the logistics of this will come into effect."
If what you're saying she wrote is true, then she made her choice. I'm sorry, I can't just accept it. I have to hear it for myself, from her, that this is what she wants. I just can't. I can't imagine that my daughter would ever abandon her family. It just doesn't make sense.
Going to put her hand on Euphoria's shoulder and just kind of just take a second, just kind of be there as a warmth inside of all of this. It's just going to look over and say, I I will be there with you every step of the way. I don't know if this is too forward of me, but I believe you can surmise I was never able to have any children of my own. These kids, these lovely kids, it's the closest things that I ever got. Feels this rage inside of me, knowing that she will never experience the happiness that I would want for someone like that. I will not stand for this idol, and I will use all that I have, both in my fake connections and in my power, to make it happen. That I promise you.
It means a lot to know that. She meant so much to you. To all of you.
I was so proud of her.
Indeed. She's
Yeah.
fought well.
She fought well, she kept us together. She meant so much to each and every person here under this roof.
Euphoria is getting a little misty-eyed, but she's doing that thing where she's looking up at the ceiling because that mascara is not waterproof, and clears her throat and well, she'll point to the words on the canvas, and that's another mystery down, I suppose, concerning the romance stuff.
You can take them if you want.
Are you sure? But she worked with you to make these.
In my culture, we create these as a way of commemorating legends, memories, and stories, so they will not be forgotten. I remember these in my lifetime, and I think it is the least I can do to give you the stories she felt the need to be memorialized, so that you can learn them and you can share them.
She'll quirk a smile and nod and gesture to one of the more recent paintings, just saying, I can take those, but that one right there, and she'll point to the first one with Jubilee and Kai-shen's names. That one's yours.
Yeah. He is doing his best stoic. But you do see that his eyes are watering as well, as the rest of his face remains impassive. He goes, then so be it.
You have to get your chance to say goodbye to Kai-shen. This is what she truly decides. That's what you can fight for. Some closure for those that you lost.
And he kind of looks over at some of the other things on the wall, where I don't believe either of you speak Goblin. So
No.
No.
So he looks at some of the other ones, and yeah. kind of does a bit of a gulp and looks back at you and goes, I at least would like to see how far she's come.
And we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen, and we're gonna need everybody's help. I'm sure she'd like to see you again, too. Can we at least agree to do that much?
He extends out his arm towards you.
Give a toothy smile and firmly clasp his hand.
Perhaps we can at least see eye to eye on something.
Good. Because I don't want to dislike you, Kai-shen. You're too cute for that.
He kind of looks, he blinks a couple times and goes, I see that there are some things you did not teach your daughter.
Despite my best efforts.
We could teach her a few things about that.
Well, if you all would like to stay, I could perhaps teach you how to paint as well.
Huh. I'm not sure I'd be particularly good at it, but it might be good to try something that Juby enjoyed.
I'll be right there with you. I think I could use an outlet like this.
Excellent. Then Kai-shen is gonna do a intro to calligraphy class for Illya and Euphoria. And
Time to mess up all the stroke counts.
Yep. And after several bad stroke counts, he will just grab your hand and like guide it like he did with Jubilee. And yeah, so that will be how you guys spend your time for a bit. Now, Paige, which vision would you like first? Because that determines the setup.
I mean, I don't have a preference. So.
All right. We'll start off with questions on questions on questions. So, after a couple days and stuff, Sylvana is gonna approach you again, as you're kind of walking around the house doing whatever, and she seems somewhat abashed as she approaches, and goes, Paige?
Oh, Sylvana, hi there.
I just noticed that it's been a while since we talked again, and I miss it.
I do too. I'm sorry. I just needed some time. I hope I didn't make you worried, though.
I'm sorry for how I acted. I just missed you, and it's good to talk to you again, and I don't want to go that long again.
No, I don't. I don't know when we'll be returning to the Feywild, and it's probably best that. I mean, you stick around as close as possible to us. I know you get upset when we're gone for so long, but we are doing missions. I mean, we never know how long we'll be gone for. I just don't want something like that to happen again.
I know. I was afraid. I let my fear get the best of me. I didn't mean to. You know I care about you, and I just want to see you safe.
I know you do, and I'm very thankful for that. But ever since then, something, nothing you've done, of course, but I feel like something's just not right. I feel like something's happening to you, Sylvana, and do you not notice it?
I'm just me. I've always been me. I know that it may seem I have a tendency to get a bit obsessive about things, but I don't feel like I'm any different. I don't feel like I look different.
You don't think you look different?
No, I maybe a little disheveled at times, but that's because I've been working. And she kind of comes over to you, and she'll gently reach for your arm if you will let her.
A little stiff, but
Yeah.
she'll allow it.
And she'll just very slowly push it or put it against her cheek, and give you like where the various cracks had materialized in your vision before, and she just looks at you and goes, "See, I feel normal, don't I?" And as she says that, Paige, you get a feeling of vertigo as you blink, and you are standing. It's very hazy, as in your vision itself appears to be kind of fish-eyeing at the sides, and you're standing in front of a large green crystal that's been embedded in some kind of rune-covered machinery. And you see a teenage Sylvana floating inside of that crystal. And she's just floating naked there with her eyes closed. And you turn to the side and you see a human male wearing a lab coat. On one shoulder says Project Hope. On the other shoulder says The Last Stand. And he appears to be looking at a scrying screen and frowning as another human is carting away what appears to be a kind of malformed body out the room. And he turns to an elven person, female elf who is also in the same coat, and says, While the soul graft was able to be successful, we haven't been able to get it properly implanted into anything. The bodies keep rejecting it. We thought that the shifters and the changelings were mutable enough, but even they still reject the imposition of an outside force. This is incredibly problematic. Well, yes, of course, you know that the Lord Artificer has threatened to cut off the whole project if we can't succeed. I am aware of what the Lord Artificer has demanded. I'm telling you, this isn't possible. We have used every possible resource that House Vidalis has, and this is too far beyond the scope of what we know how to do. But if we fail here, you know that the Lord Artificer and the King will not allow this to come to pass. You know that the houses have barely even tolerated this project in the first place. And the human turns around and you see as a House Vidalis heraldry symbol on the back of his lab coat as he looks out where the body is being taken. And as he looks at it, it kind of clarifies for you, and you see the body is what appears to be a dog shifter, except part of its hair has turned into kind of long black hair in a patchy form, and some of its fur has turned into kind of, pink human skin, and one of its eyes that's still just staring up at the ceiling is a very bright green. We can't keep finding these potential hosts. We need to figure out something different. The elf goes, well, I actually have an idea. You know that in the Roar Holds they've been experimenting with Delkir bioarcana for quite some time. Perhaps that might be a new avenue of research. But you know how unstable those things are. It's half the time they devour the host life force in itself, and they'll drive you insane in the worst case. Well, I don't know what other options we have. Fine. Log it. All right. Have the house men at arms start searching for any Delkir nests in the dragon below, and we'll see if there's at least one last hope under the sovereign host that we'll be able to complete this. Right. I'll see that it's done. And as the elf walks away, you see against a calendar, there's a kind of crystal calendar of year and date thing on it, and there is number of failed experiments, and you notice this is 40 years ago.
Gosh.
And do you wish to do anything inside of the vision currently?
Oh my gosh. Whew. Is there any notes lying around on any of the tables? Maybe she can take just a quick glance on the top to see if there's anything of notice, anything that she might recognize.
As you kind of look around, you notice you're getting a lot more interference on your vision than the previous ones you've had. It begins fractaling and kind of spiraling out the longer you're lingering in it. But you do see on one of the lab notes is presumably from that human artificer, and there is a note that is from demanding a update on Project Hope by Lord Artificer Leos DeCanneth. And I'll put that in chat. So and you know, just, this is something you're aware of because you're a smart, educated person. House Vidalis is the dragon-marked house in charge of basically mage animal augmentation. They produce like mage-bred horses that are stronger, faster, more endurance, more intelligent. They're the ones who crafted that draconic bodyguard that the Keeper of the Flame had. And so they experiment in basically magical bioenhancement of creatures, but they've never had anything about humans or humanoids for that matter. But that's what you see.
She's also gonna get as close as she can to the green crystal in the middle, and see if she can get a better look.
Yep. As you approach, you see what very distinctly looks like Sylvana maybe when she was 15 or 16. Although there, as you look at her, she is just floating there, and she's almost incorporeal. There is a spectrality to her, which makes it seem like she does not have a physical form inside of there. And she has some kind of like magical mark on her right hand that you can't quite make out. And as you lean in closer, you see her eyes flash open and look directly at you. And with that, you are now looking back into her eyes in the present. As she's kind of got a little smile to you and it's like, see? Don't I feel just how I always have?
She kind of blinks, trying to get back into the right timeline for a moment, and her eyes immediately go to her right hand. Yes. Strange question, Sylvana. Forgive me, but how old did you say you were?
She kind of looks at you very quizzically, like, that is a strange question. I'm 25? Why? Are you... It's not my birthday anytime soon.
No, I just couldn't seem to remember. I'm sorry. It just came to mind. But you're right. You do look the same. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to be self-conscious.
She goes, well, I never thought I had to be self-conscious about my age.
No, of course not.
So, as you can see, I'm the same old me I've always been. And I'm sorry if I scared you. It was not my intent. Can we start over again?
I think so, but I think we first need to address the group what happened and what you did. I don't feel right keeping it a secret from everyone.
It's not a secret. I don't know why they would find it strange.
I just think it's something they should know.
All right. We can talk to them about it. Maybe they'll have some thoughts that could help. I heard that Illya was pursuing magic again, so I'm always happy to bounce an opinion off of a fellow practitioner.
Yes, but before we speak to them, I want to speak to them first, and then we'll do it together. Okay?
Okay, that's fine. And she, she kind of, lets go of your hand and kind of backs away from you and just smiling and stuff. It's like, that's fine. I'll be happy to do it. I'm just happy that we're that we're back to talking again. See, I just how I've always been.
Yeah, of course. Don't ever change. You're
I try not to. And she does like a kind of an awkward, like half bow and goes, "Well, I shouldn't keep you, my lady."
No, you're fine. But thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I was acting funny, but we'll see you at dinner.
See you at dinner. And she gives you a little wave with her right hand.
She just like doesn't look away from her right hand, just keeps looking.
And she will happily walk away, oblivious to what's going on. She thinks she just scored an absolute win. So, Paige, do you wish to go talk to Illya?
Yeah. Very much so. Yeah, she's gonna hurry to where she assumes Illya might be.
Surprisingly, after hours of calligraphy, you will see an Illya emerge from Kai-shen's room with Euphoria, and we'll kind of exchange a few words, and they'll go their separate ways.
Approaches quietly, waiting for them to finish.
Oh, Paige, you can come closer. It's all right. We were just finishing an art session, a bit of calligraphy work.
Well, I hope that went well for you.
It was interesting. I never delved too much into the arts myself, but I liked it.
Wonderful to hear. I mean, you're talented at a lot of things. I'm sure this would be no trouble for you.
Well, I will certainly do my best. I think I have a lot of work left before I'm able to start to create anything I'm truly proud of. Is there something that I can help you with?
Yes, actually, do you think we can speak in private somewhere?
Of course. I wanted to apologize for not letting you in again the other day.
Oh goodness, no, there's no need to apologize. We were all going through our own sort of thing, and we have ways of dealing with sadness. I don't hold it against you, I promise.
Ilya's just going to kind of walk up and just give Paige a big hug and say, "We're all here for each other. It's okay." Oh, God.
In OBS. So as Illya is hugging you, saying we're all here for each other, Paige, you have another time vision.
Yeah, let's go.
So as you're being hugged, you blink and you get that feeling of vertigo as you're on a beach, like a beach at sundown, and you see what is clearly a younger Illya to a degree. And she is laughing with a very attractive white male dragonborn. He's more on the humanoid side with his scales and draconic features more muted than the full Malral dragon head. But he does have his long flowing white tail, and his white scales are almost like freckles. And they're laughing and they lean into each other on the beach, and they have a little kiss at sunset. And as they're doing such, you feel the wind kind of heat up a bit near you, Paige, and you smell very distinctly like smoke. And as you feel this and sense this, you see Illya and the Dragonborn kind of look up, and they look towards a what appears to be kind of a manor estate in the woods near the beach. And you can see that there are fires coming from that estate, and they start running towards it. And as they're running towards it, you feel yourself almost lassoed to them, being dragged behind them, as the vision keeps shifting closer and closer to them. And you notice that the Fey Woods, the things that you're similar to seeing in the Talantis Grove, the many colored trees of greens and purples and blues, are all alight, and you hear cries coming from the very trees themselves as they burn and burn and burn, and the fire keeps spreading. And you look down as Illya and this Dragonborn look down, and you see there are outlines of charred and crisped bodies all strewn across the ground, leading into the estate itself. And they push forward with you standing beside them, and you see that the Illya begins, her fingers are crackling with energy as the Dragonborn is readying himself for a fight. And as they enter the estate itself, you see a group of humanoid figures in dark clothing promptly leap out of the bushes and pull weapons on the two of them, holding them close and saying in a vulgar celestial for them to do something. And as they push them closer to the estate, you see that right there is a manor estate completely alight in flame, and you see hundreds of figures, also lighting pyres where there are people on them and pushing them back into the fires, where then the person grabs Illya and shoves her to the ground hard, grabbing her fingers and dislocating them as they hold her down. And out of the mass of people, you see that there is a tall, absolutely beautiful woman with shining red hair and wisps of flame coming off of her person, and walking right behind her appears to be about a 5-year-old gray-skinned changeling with silver eyes, looking very afraid. And as the woman approaches, she looks over at the person holding Illya down and says, in common, "Oh, I think that we can, adjust her point of view. Let us see the glorious works that we have undertaken. Please guide her vision." And as she says that, the person on her back kind of pushes Ilya's face in towards the manor house, and you see right in front of it are a series of St. Andrew cross style X's implanted in the ground. And you see on one of them is a Ladrin woman who looks very similar to a slightly older Illya. with the same blue skin and white hair, staked into the cross. And at that, the woman then looks over at Illya and goes, I'm so sorry that it had to come to this, but once we found out that your kind had decided to set up a nice little kingdom of their own, well, we had to take action. Can't let such abominations continue to taint the world, can we? But don't worry, it'll be corrected here. We've done great work, delivering righteous wrath and divine judgment upon them. And at that, you see Ilya's trying to look around as you no longer have track of the Dragonborn anymore. And you hear a groaning shout as the Dragonborn is kind of pushed over, and it goes, well, go ahead, show her, show him, show the victims of her people's deeds, the poor, unfortunate, innocent souls that have been tainted by their guilt by association. And you see the Dragonborn being staked against the cross as well. And the woman looks down at Illya, and you see Illya trying to talk while being gagged by the person above her, and you can't really make out what she's saying. But he looks at her one last time as he's being staked on the cross, and you then see a knife stab into his neck, and he begins just bleeding out on that cross. And as the woman looks at this, she gets a nice big smile and goes, it feels so invigorating, doesn't it? Oh, sorry, I guess you can't speak. Well, I hope that you remember this. And with that, she walks over to the other woman, the Eladrin who looks like Illya on the cross, and she extends out her hand, and you see the woman begin to wither as she's seemingly being drained of something, and the fires on the red-haired woman grow stronger as she kind of quivers in a bit of joy, and goes, Sorry, I guess I should explain myself. I'm delivering them to salvation, you see. Their impurities will be corrected. No longer will they taint this world, and they will return to wherever whence they came, and those that don't belong there, well, I'm sure that I will be sure to steward their souls in the hereafter. As the various officials then light the crosses with the people on them. And then she kind of looks over at the changeling and goes, oh, don't look away, dear. Be sure to see this. This is judgment. This is the righteous world that we're going to create together. Don't you see? Even someone as corrupted as you can be able to do great works in the name of our God. Isn't that right? And the child is just kind of shaking and crying, looking at her. And, toughen up, dear. Toughen up. You must get used to this. You want to be my little instrument of wrath, don't you? Oh, sorry, I forgot you were there, as she turns back to look at Illya and kind of squats down on her knees looking at her and goes, now, I want you to remember what you've seen here. The beauty. It has a bit of ecstasy to it, doesn't it? I want you to remember this and to tell others what you've seen. For you have witnessed the Seeker's wrath as we will purify this world of all abominations like you. So don't you forget it, and know that I let you live today only so that I can take you in the future. And she boops Ilya's nose and goes back to laughing. And with that, the fires just rage harder and the smoke begins to fill the room. Is there anything you want to do in the last moments of this vision page?
Yeah. She's just going to stare at the seeker's face, trying to memorize every nook and cranny and detail about her, as well as the changeling that's beside her. Trying to commit those faces to memory.
And as you do that, you notice that there's just something about the changeling which echoes familiar, but you can't quite put it on or put your finger on it. And as you memorize their features and you hear the departing laughter of the seeker and the tears of the changeling, you are resumed to the present as you are being hugged by Ilya.
Kind of tumbles in Ilya's arms.
Oh, no, don't worry. I have you. It's all right.
I don't want to see them anymore. Please stop. She kind of starts to cover her face and her ears.
Sees what? Here, don't worry. And
Please
Ilya's going to pick you up and hold you like in a cradle, and is going to just kind of like rub the back of your head and say, "We'll get you. We'll go somewhere private. It's okay. It's okay."
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, there's no need to be apologetic. It's all right. I can be here for you.
I saw it. I saw you. I saw your husband. I saw the seeker. I'm so sorry. Ilya. Me
Uh,
too.
you, sh- you shouldn't have had to. You shouldn't have had to experience that. It's it's okay. And as they like get into, Ilya probably takes her to Paige's room and just kind of gonna continue to hold her tightly before setting her down onto the bed. Said, "It's all right. It's all right. I
Sorry. I
no.
don't.
Please, please do not be sorry. This is you. You saw everything.
I did.
Ah, I. Ah, we we both need deep breaths. Do not know how you saw that, but that is something no one deserves. No one deserves. No one deserves that. It's okay. It's okay. We're here for you. We're here for you.
But I know how these visions. I keep seeing people's past. Things that are happening, things that are so traumatic, and I can't do anything about them. I can only just see them. I don't know how to help you. I'm so sorry.
Darling, there's no need to help. Remember when we were on the train? We talked about this? the way back from the mission on the airship, we talked about this. It has happened, and I am so sorry that you had to experience that. But we do our best to move on. Stay strong. I I wish I could take those visions away from you and so that you could see them no more and suffer no more, but I think that I know how.
I feel like I'm seeing them for a reason. There has to be. I want to help you.
Being in my life has helped me more than any words could ever have.
feel like that's enough.
Stay with us. Stay by our side. I promise you that we will have each other's until the very end. We will give each other happiness. We will give each other joy. We will give each other love. It's all that I want. You, for Cess, for Juby, everyone.
How can you say that when so much has happened to you?
Fully? Sure. But you remember when we were at the beach? While you folks were building sandcastles, spoke to Lady Cryotrixia. She told me that it is all right to give up the hunt. Protect those deers to you. And while the people that I lost, my mother, Dokrin, and all of Shaelor Lindier, they will never come back. And I need to make sure that the people that I have now will be able to see it through. I don't have any magic words or magic ideas that will help me get through this, and believe me, I still am trying. But just know that I'll do whatever it takes to see it through.
We're a family. And I'm going to protect that family.
We're a family.
Thank you, Illya.
Cannot to see the wonderful you grow into. You're already so wonderful already.
Strong. I want to be strong for all of us, but everything's changing so quickly. Time and people and places and
We will be. You will be strong. Why? You broke through to me. It's a cold heart. Frühling that I was. Because you were me. You are me, how I was on that fateful day. The shy, scared little girl that had a knack for magic, strong love for everyone dear to them. May no longer be that girl. That when I looked at you and when I spoke to you, just knew that you were someone that I wanted to stay with.
Gonna continue to wrap her arms around Ilya and give her a big squeeze.
Happily squeeze back.
Hope I get to be just like you when I grow up.
Just like me and more, I am sure.
If we stay like this for a while.
Of course, dear. Be with you as long as you need.
There's other things I need to talk to you about, but
Those don't matter. What matters is your well-being. We have plenty of time. I'm not going anywhere.
thank you, Ilya.
Thank you, bitch.
Just kind of continue to cry until she just can't anymore and kind of dozes off in your arms.
I will stay by her side, and after she's sure that Paige is asleep, is going to take a water or take a glass, fill it up with water, leave it at her bedside, take a look back at the room, smile through teary eyes, and walk out the door, letting her rest.
Okay. As you leave her to rest, Paige is blessed for a moment of not having any more temporal visions, just simply dreams, or some would say nightmares, that dance along the edges of the things that she has just learned and can now never forget. And with that, I'm actually going to do a slight change of plans here because of that incredibly heavy series of events. Are there any last things that somebody would like to do this session before we wrap it up? There's some other stuff that will come up next time, but I feel like a pretty good mark after just how much sadness just occurred. So I will do one pass around. Is there anything that someone would like to do that's comparatively short to wrap things up?
Malral will go ahead and see both Euphoria and Cess to see if either one of them want to use the last sending spell that Malral has for the day.
Cess would probably be a spicy choice for that, since we know what Euphoria did for the first and second with no response. I think Cess would probably be a good one to go to first on that.
Euphoria only did the one.
Oh, okay. So you want to go talk to Cess first?
I did promise Euphoria,
Okay.
so I want to ask her first.
Okay.
But if she says no, then I will go to Sess.
Okay. So go to Euphoria.
Don't know
Euphoria.
where.
Oh, I'm sorry. Since she already had one in and knowing what she knows now, she will happily give the last one to Cess.
Alright. Malral will nod his head and then start heading over to wherever Sess is.
Yep.
Like go knocks on her door perhaps.
Where in the world is Carmen Sestiego?
She would be in the kitchen with an excessive amount of grilled cheeses because Asharan didn't eat any, so that's what we're having for dinner tonight.
That's a lot of cheese.
I had to test a lot of different combinations. Did you know that the Goblinoid Society, there's an entire clan about making cheeses? There are. Says opens up one of the pantry drawers and just just shelves full of cheese rolls she's bought. There's a lot of cheese. Anyways, Mal, can I help you?
My first wife was a goblin, so yes. I wanted to ask you. I have one more message I can send to Jubilee. Would you like to use it?
She takes a seat and thinks really hard. Listen, Malral, there are times when, a girl or a boy changes their look after heartbreak, and this is one of those times, and I don't feel like now is the time for me to speak to her again. I don't want her to see me right now. And, she's an archfey now, right? Reaching out to her has got to be tough, and, since she's so powerful, if she ever wanted to speak to me, speak to us, she'll make that decision. Because right now I can't.
It is an option. If ever you wish to send a message to her.
Thank you for the offer, but
Are you... He goes to sit down next to Sess.
yeah?
It hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah, loss always does. Even if it's just her getting a different career, that's how I rationalize it.
But you're hurt. More.
Yeah, and I'm processing that pain in a far healthier manner.
I don't think you are.
I'm still functioning.
A cracked sword can still function, but can only suffer so much pressure before it breaks.
I'm fine, Malral. Listen, I've been up and down this road before, alright? It's not like it's gonna hurt any more just because it's Juby. I just it hurts, and I gotta process the pain how I want to deal with it. Sure, it's in a more flamboyant method than how other people have been doing it, Illya locking herself in her room, Sylvana's going through something, but this is just how I'm dealing with it right now, and I don't think any amount of talking or etc. will speed it up. This is just what I have to get through right now. I know.
You'd be surprised.
What else is there to talk about? I think I've spoken enough about it, and now I just have to sit and let it stew.
Or you can let it out.
What is there to let out? She was important, and she chose to be somewhere else. I've made it clear when I talked before that it's upsetting to think about, but it's just natural for everyone to want something more than adventuring.
But what about what you want?
I don't have an answer to that. And I don't want to think about that right now when I'm already dealing with other extenuating emotional circumstances.
Unless they're connected.
I wasn't gonna. Given my luck, I wasn't gonna get a future with her anyways, so I wasn't thinking too hard about that.
You put yourself down so many times. Why?
I didn't put myself down. I was just here to begin with. I'm just being realistic. It's just how it is.
Malral shakes his head. You can soar as high as you wish. You have the ability to do so. You have done so before.
There's
Yet
that.
you refuse to.
What do you mean by before? You don't. What point of comparison are you making here? You weren't on that job when we were literally in the skies on an airship, so I know that's not what you mean. You're not pulling a pun, you know. It's just that keyword you said, ability. Everyone's got a place to be, and I know where mine is. All right.
Perhaps, if you don't want to talk to me, try talking to your other friends. I think they would disagree with you.
It's the neat thing about friends. They say a lot of nice things to make you feel better, but when you hear a lot of the same words, they stop really mattering when actions prove otherwise. Listen, Mal, I understand you're trying to help, but I don't think there's any way for me to speed up this healing.
Everyone heals at their own pace. I understand.
And don't worry, it's
Still
not like
think.
I've.
I still think you should talk to your friends.
It's fine, you know. If I need to, I'll talk to him. It's not like I'm alone. I mean, I got Spike here, and she does the like dog chin thing of like you scratching a dog by its chin, but it's to her jacket. Like the goose sort of like moves in response, but not in a super physical way, I guess.
Imaginary friends aren't that helpful for healing either, you know.
You've literally seen this thing move. You listen. This thing's gaslighting me into. You guys don't have to believe the talking thing. That's fine. It hasn't talked in front of you yet, but you've seen them move. Hell, Sylvana has gone on record telling us all it's a living creature.
It was probably just the wind.
You know, for a smith, you should catch up on some magic weapons. I had Sylvana look a little into Daykill. Out of character. It's why am I so Delkyr?
Yeah, Delkyr.
Yeah, Delkyr.
Delkyr.
LKYR. Yeah. Listen, Sylvana told me a bit about it. It's Daykill armaments. If you want to look into it, be my guest. But it's just another magic item. You know, this one. You know, Mal, you're a smith. You've heard of weapons that can talk to their wielders. What's the weird thing about armor?
Usually, when such a thing happens, it is an old artifact, or when a person's soul is trapped inside. Never a shifting piece of goo.
Well, you're comparing the internals to the externals. Just because this is the first time you've seen goo as armor doesn't mean it ain't any different from a talking sword.
Then why does it
Besides,
refuse to talk to us?
he's shy. They're shy. Don't bother them. Like butter though. If you feed them butter, maybe they'll talk to you. I don't know. I've been trying to coax them into it. Just It's really fucking weird. I think you guys might like him, honestly.
Well, if the jacket refuses to talk, again, I am here. Your sister is here.
I know Malral, but there's just not a whole lot to say right now. No words are gonna fix it. Just time.
Time and aid.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of aid yourself to some of these fucking grilled cheeses, because they made a whole ass platter for Asharan, and all they did was tear it apart. And power to them. They don't have to eat it, but now I've got like 3 platters of this shit in the kitchen.
Oh, I don't like tomato and cheese together.
There's a reason why it's in a bowl separate from the plate. You don't have to if you don't want to. Also, are you telling me you don't like pizza?
What is pizza?
Okay, we are addressing this right now. I'm taking the kitchen from Lily today. Says we'll make pizza and grilled cheese. It's such a cheesy
You'll love to
fucking
see
dinner for
it.
this party.
You'll love to see it.
For
What is a
Malral
grilled
Walker
cheese if
Discord.
not pizza in a slightly different form?
Right.
All right. I think with Cess now gonna be making pizza, the pizza for the dog with the butter. I think we could wrap things up here tonight. I will check back in with people if they have anything else they want to do next time, because we still haven't done that Sylvana talk, but I feel like we've had a lot of Sylvana being crazy.
Just a smidge more.
So, but yeah, thank you all for coming tonight. I hope you had fun. I know my players all cried and were sad, so that's a win in my book. If
Thanks.
if you haven't done so already, please give me a follow here on Twitch, a sub over on YouTube, follow on Twitter. You can join my Discord, the Eternal Citadel, be a part of my incredible community. You should also go check out all of these wonderful people. They're all very silly, very gay. And they are all awesome in their own right. Give them follows, give them watches. Recently, Yulia has re-unlocked the ability to spread Skyrim anarchy to the people, so...
Let's go, baby! Let's
Let's
go!
Yeah.
But yes, I'm going to be back here on Wednesday for more Wildermyth, where we're going to follow the adventures of the Disaster Buys, which is starring almost everyone in this party currently.
Except me.
Except,
I died.
Except Lily, who died. They made a beeline for Lily. So come on by for that at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a blast. And we're going to go raid Index Page. It's been a while since I've raided her. She is an absolutely awesome and ridiculous little book girl who has crazy vocal range from going from very deep bara to very high pitched girl. So if you're a follower, please copy down the call to hugs. If you're a sub, please copy down the knight's message. And I hope y'all have an amazing night. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Love you guys. Bye. Trauma's eternal.